All right, the Christmas and holiday season is upon us. Are you approaching these next few weeks with joy, with excitement, with magic in your mind about how great it's going to be for you and your family? And are you also approaching with stress and frustration and fear that it's going to not be so great? We know, Sarah and I, after working with so many parents over the past 20 years, we know that this time can be one that can be really awesome and exciting and fun for the whole family, but it can also lead to a lot of problems. It can lead to a lot of fighting in families, a lot of disappointment in the kids and the parents. So we wanted to drop this episode this week to give you 5 clear steps, easy steps. You follow these steps to empower you to be able to create the holiday season that you are wanting to have. And we hope that you'll jump into it, take some notes, put it into effect, and then be able to join with your spouse, join with your partner, join with your kids to be able to make this Christmas season all you hope it will be.
Welcome to the Art of Raising Humans.
The Art of Raising Humans is a podcast designed to support, equip, and encourage parents on how to create long-lasting, deeply connected relationships with their kids that's free from fear and shame. Come join us on the journey. Hello, and welcome to The Art of Raising Humans. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Sarah.
And it's Christmas week, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a very exciting time. I know a lot of people celebrating holidays all across the world and in America specifically too, where we're at. And this is a time when kids are home. We want to make this time magical, right?
Yeah, we do.
I know we get excited about this. Our kids get very excited about it. I have a lot of good memories as a kid during Christmas. You do as well.
Yes, yeah, lots.
And I think what we wanted to do, Sarah, as we were chatting about this, we wanted to really make this an intentional podcast to help people have a fantastic holiday time with their families.
Yeah, because I think we all really want it to be wonderful, and we're disappointed and saddened when it's not. And so, we were talking about what we could do to support families in that is what we're doing to support ourselves.
You use the feelings disappointed and sad. I was thinking frustrated, irritated, and mad. So when I know, Sarah, lots of times there's a lot of conflicts that come about during this time,
Uh-huh.
and I think in particular, before you and I really were more intentional about it, for me, the frustration in my heart was I wanted things to be relaxing and easy, and I wanted things just to flow real well. And, you're like, oh, we'll have a white Christmas, and you want all these beautiful things to happen.
Magic happening.
Yes. And then you find you're caught up in stores with shopping and traffic, and it's not snowing, but it's cold and windy, or maybe it is snowing too much.
Windy.
Yes, or whatever. Yes. And all those it's just not going the way you planned.
Yeah.
And then the kids are home and you're excited about that. I know a lot of parents are happy to be on Christmas break. They get to see their kids more, but then that invites its own level of conflict.
Yeah. Everyone's off schedule. It's a mess.
Yeah. Routines are off. Their sleep is messed up.
You're having a lot of fun, and then everything is also really horrible all at the same time.
I think the most frustrating part is you're really excited because maybe you've bought some gifts that you're excited for the kids to see. The kids are really excited, but then they're dysregulated because they're so excited. So then they're kind of more on edge, more easily irritated with siblings and with each other. And so then we blow up, and then that whole cycle starts to happen. This was supposed to be magical. This was supposed to be great.
Yeah. And I think as parents, you feel that time, you're wanting it to be real magical for them. You want these sweet memories. You'll only, so to speak, have only so many years. And so there's also that pressure of, oh no, I'm failing.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the magic I wanted my kids to remember.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe things like kids are really wanting to find out what they got. So they're kind of, sometimes parents complain about kids sneaking around, trying to find out what their gifts are, or you've got to go travel and you got to go visit other families, or you feel that pressure to go do that. And maybe there's family members you don't want to see or whatever, so there's all that kind of tension too. And maybe there's cousins who your kids get along great and maybe they don't, So there's a lot of new circumstances and situations that lead to a lot more conflict, a lot more pressure and stress.
Yeah.
And so we thought we wanted to take this time to give you 5 steps to survive the holiday season.
And make it better.
That's right. Not just survive. That's right. Okay. So 5 steps to thrive during the I'm changing it. Okay. I'm going to change that title. 5 steps to thrive. And this is dropping, Sarah, the Monday before Christmas. So this is like, we thought this would be fantastic. Let's drop it now. So that way
be on Christmas break.
Yeah. So everyone listening this
middle of all it.
If you're obviously running, listening, or you're driving or you're moving, don't get a pen and paper. But if you've got a place, you got a pen and paper, get a pen and paper down, because we came up with these 5 steps that we intentionally like. These are 5 things that we do that we'd love to teach parents to do to really make this not like a perfect time. It's not going to be that.
They definitely help. We don't do perfect,
yes.
but when we're able to be better at these things and when we intentionally do these things, it does make a difference.
And if you're like us and you said, hey, we want to have a family where we're not punishing, not yelling, not constantly thinking about consequences. And so if you're in this journey of trying to change that parent, these 5 things will help you have a holiday season without this need for control and using shame and fear to try to get kids to do what you want.
Yes.
Okay, so number 1, this first one is a little bit out because the other 4 start with a C.
Oh,
I know, couldn't come up with it. So
one of you all can come up and let us know.
That's right. So number 1 that I thought of that really I think a lot of parents I'm helping and coaching currently, Sarah, a big one is acceptance.
Yeah.
Okay, and what I mean by acceptance is lots of times we'll go into this time and our default, most of our brains, just in general as humans and the way we were raised, was resistance, meaning we're resisting all the things that are going on, resisting whether that's the traffic I'm in, resisting the kids fighting more than usual, resisting, just all types of stresses that are going on, that stress is caused by us resisting what is and wanting it to be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that thing that you feel rise up in you that's this pushback. I've got to change this. Mm-hmm. I don't want this. I'm going to make this different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of times if you're thinking it shouldn't be this way, or we have to do this, or need to get that done, or I have to buy that gift, or all that kind of language is a bunch of resistance type language. Okay. So this one's kind of more big picture, but it also is a mindset. It's waking up every day realizing that acceptance is the way you change moments, meaning that you accept the moment as it is, that really this moment cannot be any other way than it currently is. So whether that's accepting, whatever the circumstances you have this week leading up to Christmas, accepting that fact. So waking up in the morning and saying, like, I am going to accept the day as it is. I'm not going to try to fight it. I'm not going to try to somehow make my kids do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to accept the fact that this is difficult. I'm going to accept the fact that I feel overwhelmed right now. Or I'm going to accept the fact that maybe I blew up at my kid last night. I'm not going to resist that. I'm just going to accept the fact that I acted in a way I didn't want to act.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sort of allows you just to take a deep breath and relax into the moment, because when your body is thinking, I've got to fight this, I've got to run from this, I've got to, it's in this alarmed state. So your nervous system is all worked up. When you just go, okay, I don't necessarily, this isn't how I wish the moment was, but I just accept it. This is what is right now.
Yeah, I'm going to accept it that this season isn't going to be perfect, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And there's just a piece of you that then can start to relax.
Yeah.
And if things are going to change, it's from that place.
Yeah.
And it just, you'll feel it in your body. I mean, even now, just think of something that you want to resist, that you want to push against, even if it's just my kids fighting all the time or whatever it might be, and just take a moment and say, I just accept it. I accept that this may be hard, that this may be, and you can feel your body go, okay, all right.
A good example real quick, just so we help our listeners understand, Sarah, I think, is over the Christmas time in particular, there'll be these things where you're trying to get a lot of stuff done. You're trying to wrap the gifts, you're trying to clean the house, you're trying, whatever that might be. And then one of the kids will have an emotional, moment where they're upset because their cookie fell on the floor or something. And in that moment, you will want to resist that. You'll be like, are you serious now? Do you know how much stuff I have on my plate to do? And do you see how when you do that, you're only going to make that more likely to keep, whereas if you just accept it, okay, like to them, this is a big deal. To them, this thing is a big, And if I can take a moment and realize all this other stuff that I have on my plate, yes, it's not that it's not important, but in this moment, that thing is equally as important to them, And I, as the parent, am just going to accept that they need my help right now to regulate themselves and deal with this upset in a different way. And then I can get back to my list. But if I just resist it and tell it to go away, either that kid's going to stuff it or that kid's going to blow up.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 1 is accepted. Now that is the only one that's not a C. So get ready for number 2. Number 2, Sarah, I'd love for you to speak about this, that if we're going into this 2 weeks or more of a Christmas break, and I'm wanting this break to be, as good as it can be, the number 2 step is connection.
Right. Okay. So you really have to start from this place of acceptance, but then you want to very quickly realize your foundation is going to be connection. If there's a breakdown in relationship, you're going to have a hard time getting anywhere. If you think about anyone in your life, your boss or something, if there's a breakdown there, it is much harder to get a task done or comply with a request or have a good attitude.
Yeah.
So our children are the same way. If there's a breakdown in our relationship, it's much harder for them to do anything we ask, to have a good attitude about it, to be open to our feet.
Yeah, be receptive to it.
Yeah. All of those things are hindered when they don't feel connected to us.
Yep.
So we've really got to think, does my child feel connected to me right now? And even yes or no, it doesn't matter. I need to think about that so I'm aware of where they're at, because then I feel that if there's tension there, I'm like, oh, I can see that they're not feeling connected. But I want to daily, just like I plan my meals, my kids eat every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to plan connection.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something fun with them. I'm going to hug them. I'm going to make eye contact. I'm going to be playful. And it could be 10 minutes, but I am going to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
If I want anything else to happen, that needs to be there first.
That is success, that I've connected with them that day.
Yeah.
And I think in the holidays, that's what's so paradoxical about it, is we want this magical time with them, and yet then we're so busy doing all these other things.
We lose connection.
Yeah, that seem like we have to do to make it magical.
Mm-hmm.
It's magical to them is you. It's just connecting to you. Like I know as a kid, there is this like, oh, I want that gift, or hope it'd be magical then. But everybody knows, if you've all been a kid, if you're listening to this, you've all been a kid and know that gift, that excitement is fleeting, right? It's there, it's fun. But what's more long lasting is the connection, that we really enjoyed each other. So even like you said, it's a simple hug. It's walking by and touching them. It's checking in with them throughout the day, or like at night, make sure you're talking to them at night before they go to bed, and just really like soaking it in that you get to spend time with them during
Even if other things have to be taken off your list, this needs to be prioritized.
Yeah.
So plan it in and do it. And I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah.
But it's really important to do.
Yeah. And so that was number 2. So number 1 is acceptance. Number 2, connection. Number 3 is composure. Okay. So I think this is probably my bigger issue than yours. But when all this expectation is there, Sarah, and there's all these things that quote unquote need to get done, there is this like go, checklist, right?
Yeah.
And kids lots of times are inconvenient to that checklist, right? They have their own things going on. Like lots of them, especially if they've been in school this whole time, they're kind of like, I just want to chill. I just want to hang out. I don't want to, and like that might not be convenient to what I want to get done. I want them, we got to get this done, get this done. And so that means I might end up getting dysregulated, losing my composure, yelling, getting demanding, right? And so it's so important, if I want that connection that I'm doing to be effective, right, is I've got to make sure I'm being intentional each day. So I'd wake up each day and say, okay, I'm going to do this when I start to feel overwhelmed, or I'm going to do this when I start to feel mad. And that might be, I'm going to purposely walk away and take some deep breaths. I'm going to purposely maybe smile for a moment, remind myself I love that little kid. I might purposely have a statement like, this is not an emergency. Okay, we can handle this. Whatever it is you're going to put in place for the next 2 weeks, of just make it your goal for the next 2 weeks to lose your composure a lot less than you did last Christmas, right? Make that your goal. It's not that you're not losing it at all, but just lose it less, right? And then magically, Sarah, all these other things that we said are kind of frustrating, the sibling conflicts, all that stuff, they're probably going to happen less too, because we're not blowing up as much.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing about it, is when we have the composure, we can give that to ourselves, be compassionate with ourselves, then that does get handed off to them as well, because they're going to feed off whatever you have. So if you're tense, overwhelmed, angry, frustrated, that's going to feed into them, and you're going to more likely see that in them. But if you can be calm and happy, and then that leaks all over them too, and they're feeling calm and happy.
Yeah. I might even change it a little bit, not calm and happy, but more calm and like, I'm trying to think of a different word, because you might not feel happy right then, right? And the goal isn't even for them to feel happy, but the goal is to at least be composed. So then that way, then you can accept the moment as it is and then connect with it, right? And I think what happens is when we're not feeling happy because the kid is doing X, Y, and Z, then I lose my composure, and then I end up destroying the connection because I'm resisting all of it. I'm wanting to like change it with force and intimidation. Yeah. Okay. So number one, we've got accepting the moment as it is, accepting the day as it is, accepting what time of year this is and all the stuff that's going on. 2 is connecting. 3 is composure. And 4 would be communication or communicate. Right?
Yeah. And I think this was really powerful. I think we get so busy, it can fall to the wayside, or maybe we're not in the habit of doing it anyway. But just simple, hey guys, let's sit down. I'm going to tell you what's going to be happening over Christmas. This is when we're going to grandma's house.
Yeah.
This is when, so-and-so is going to come over. This is how we're going to handle this situation, and just lay out the things that are in your mind and communicate how those things are going to happen, when they're going to happen. And a really big piece is asking them what's on their mind.
Well, I want to get that in just a second. Hold on. That's number 5. You're jumping in. No, I want to stick with communication just a bit, because I love what you said about giving the logistics. Like all that's important. So then they're going to be less anxious because they know kind of what to expect going forward or what to prepare. But I even want to like communicate what the expectations are on these special events, because a lot of times there's a lot of variables that are out of our control, whether that's like cousins coming over and family, and like when we're eating, a lot of times those things are all off, right? And of course they're also super excited about eating the sugar and the dessert and getting the gifts, right? So I remember early on, Sarah, something I loved that we started doing real intentionally was even simple ways we communicated, like what to do when you get a gift, And so,
a gift you don't like.
Yeah, well, that was part of it too.
Gifts you like.
Yeah, either way. But I mean, like, we remember as kids of like lots of times feeling this weird conflict of like you get a gift from somebody in the family and you don't really like it, and then now I feel like I've got to be fake and got to go, oh, this is great, it's my favorite. And we wanted our kids to be able to know what to do in those situations. So there were these conversations on the way to our family's Christmases where we knew there'd be these awkward moments of just say, hey, does anybody owe you a gift? Right? And the kids would say, well, no, that's right. Nobody owes you. Like a gift by default is something you're not owed. It's something that someone's giving you freely. Okay. So I want us to practice gratitude. And the way we're going to do that is when you get a gift, how could you show gratitude? And they say, oh, we say thank you. And we go maybe give them a hug or whatever, acknowledge the fact they did that. And so what are you going to do though if you get a gift you don't like? Do we just fake it and act like we liked it? And the kid's like, I don't know. And I said, well, what I would suggest is just being grateful that you got a gift. It doesn't have to be a gift that's your favorite,
right?
But it's just a gift. Somebody thought of you. That is the gift.
Yeah.
So then when you say thank you, you're not thanking them because they got the perfect gift, but you're thanking them because they thought, right?
They cared enough to put something together for you.
And then we also were very good at communicating about what to do when you're waiting to open your gift, right? Because I remember as a kid, my parents would try to set that boundary of like, wait till your brother or sister. And pretty soon everyone's open. And it's like, but like, we didn't want it to be that. We wanted our kids to learn patience and learn self-control.
Joy of watching someone else.
Yeah. Even watch their face. How exciting is that? And it was neat to watch the kids practice that, and each year there was these key kind of skills we were wanting to do. But I say all that to say that we set the expectations before we ever went, right? But it wasn't, going to your point, it wasn't just expectations that we were dictating. If you notice, listeners, in that conversation we were having with the kids, it leads to the 5th step, which you were talking about, which is now we are creating the moment that we want. We're co-creating with our kids. We're not just demanding something from them. Like, you need to do this and you're a good kid or a more lovable kid if you do that, or I'm going to be more proud of you. It's like, hey, how do we want our Christmas to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was thinking a big part of that is them communicating with us.
Yes.
Hence, it was under communication in my mind.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because I wanted their communication.
Good. Okay, good point.
But just checking in, because sometimes I think we play through our expectations on a moment, or, we're communicating plans, but maybe we want to remember to give them space to communicate their concerns. Because maybe I'm worried that great grandma so-and-so is going to do this, but what are their worries? What are their excitements? What are they really looking forward to? Because I might not realize their favorite thing is driving around looking at Christmas lights. And so I didn't know that was I wouldn't even put that on the schedule,
Yeah.
So just having that back and forth of, this is how I'm imagining, this is I want to hear from them, their worries, their thoughts, I want that communication to be a back and forth.
Well, lots of times, Sarah, kids, they're done with school on that Friday and they're like, I got 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend 2 weeks playing video games, or I'm going to spend 2 weeks doing X, Y, whatever it might be.
On the phone to my friends. Or texting.
Yeah. God, you're so old school, Sarah. No, what world do you live in? But anyway, but the kids have these own set of expectations, what they think the 2 weeks are going to look like. And many times families haven't even talked about it. And so then what that looks like is a lot of quote unquote disobedience or resistance to what you're saying, or defiance, when really it's just a different set of expectations. So if we're able to hear them and understand what they were hoping to do, or even like you said, I love, like when you're getting together with family, they may not want to. I remember for us for a little bit, it was sometimes family would want to like force hugs on people. They come up and they're excited and they want
to hug them, and then the 2-year-old's like, wait a second, it's been a minute since I don't remember.
And so it's kind of like our kids sometimes say, would you tell them I don't like to do that? It was, but also, hey, it also means a lot to them too. So I'd ask you to be open, to connect with them. And so we get to trying to hear both sides there, but those kind of conversations were happening throughout the week and on the drive there, or even maybe I don't know how to play with that one cousin, or I don't know how to do whatever. And then how can I help you? How can I facilitate that? Would that be helpful if I hung back there and helped you guys, find something to do? And then, could you help us learn a game? Or like, so those kind of things will then make it more likely that Christmas time is magical.
Yeah.
Because everybody has felt heard and understood, but everybody felt empowered to create the Christmas time that they imagined they wanted.
Yes. And each age is going to be so different for that. You have the teenager who may be like, well, here's my big Christmas plan. I'm going to sleep in really late every day. I'm going to game, and I'm going to, and so when you can create that together versus, I've got my teenager, then I've got an 8-year-old, and an 8-year-old is imagining doing other things. So if we all are creating that together, we can, everybody has a voice, and everybody gets to be a part of that plan. Yeah,
I love that. So our 5 things are, do you remember them, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay, what are they? Oh, dude, I'm testing you right now. Number 1 was acceptance, right? That was okay. Number 2.
You were actually wanting.
Yes, I'm just kidding. Number 2 is connection. Number 3 is composure, right? Number 4, communicating. And then the 5th one is creating. That's the right order. So if you take those 5 and kind of write those down, and just kind of think about it. Talk to your spouse or your significant other, whoever else is with you during those holidays, and talk about how we want you to go in empowered to know this season doesn't have to happen to you. Like, you have the power to create the season with your kids that you're wanting to have, right? And it doesn't mean it's all going to be perfect. It doesn't mean it's all going to go exactly as you wish. But using these 5 steps is going to make it more likely that you are going to end these 2 weeks when they go back to school and say, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So if this is helpful to you, please take a moment to leave a comment, to rate and review the podcast. We really love getting your feedback. We'd love to hear how your Christmas goes. We'd love for you to email us and to take a moment to share with us if these helped you have a better Christmas, because we really believe it'll help make the magic come back in Christmas for you. Okay. So thank you so much for listening to us, and we hope you have a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday.
Merry Christmas.
The Art of Raising Humans podcast should not be considered or used as counseling, but for educational purposes only.